the longest-running real estate talk show in the North Bay, the Real Estate Hour. The legacy continues with Allison Norman and her business partner, Stephanie Norman, the newest mother-daughter real estate team. Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
And it is a beautiful day. We're heading into a hot one again.
Oh,
you know,
lovely.
just when we thought that it was going to be fall. Right? We thought it was going to be fall, and then it's all just kidding.
Just kidding.
Hang on, I'm adjusting myself. There we go. Sorry. So, good morning. Welcome to the Real Estate Hour. We are excited today to have...
We are very excited.
One, we're excited that the news from out of this Sonoma County, Charles M. Schulz Sonoma County Airport is Southwest, one of my favorite airlines to fly.
Mine too,
yeah. They're coming to Sonoma County.
Woohoo! That's exciting.
They'll be replacing a Velo. We reached out to John Stout, the airport manager for the Sonoma County Airport, and he is going to be calling in to tell us all the news and what does this mean for Sonoma County. A lot of talk. I don't think it's going to be a huge change, but we're going to talk to John about that. A little bit about what's happening at the airport, and then as always, there's always a little bit of concern that there's going to be, about the airport noise anytime. This is not, I don't think it's an expansion per se, it's just an additional airline that's coming on, but we'll let John tell you all about that. They do have a good neighbor program, which we appreciate. They really do strive to be good neighbors over there to Sonoma County Airport. So we're going to talk about that. A little bit about, along with that comes disclosure. And there is always, that big disclosure when you're selling a home in Sonoma County, especially Windsor, Northwest Santa Rosa, is that we do have an airport.
Yes,
there's
we do.
There's different places where you're going to see information about probably 3 or 4. So really, it's important to read those disclosures as a buyer and really understand what you're buying into. And that also goes along with the Smart Train. Because even though we really, what has it been, like 5 years now? How long has the Smart Train been here, Joe? Do you remember?
It's been a while now.
It's been a little while now, maybe at least 5 years. But before that, we had a train, we had a train track that went behind your house, So in our case, we're Northwest Santa Rosa. I remember moving here to the house we're in now in 97, and even before that, actually, because also lived in Northwest Santa Rosa off of Fulton. You could hear like 2:00 in the morning. We can hear a train horn.
Remember that, yeah.
And
I was pretty little, but I
and then
remember
it
that.
stopped. I think that was a freight line. So
Yeah.
anyway, so just with that, the airport, there is a train now. And that was a disclosure. Even I remember on an appraisal one time on my own home when I was refinancing. They actually compared my house, which backs up to an industrial-ish area, compared it to a house that backed up to a non-working train track.
Wow.
Because it affected the value of the home, even when there wasn't a train actually running on it, because there's the potential that there could at some point. So my point is, along with the airport as well, it's a disclosure. When you buy a home, make sure you read that and understand. Sit outside the house and listen.
And when you sell a house as well, make sure you disclose that.
Yeah. And there's multiple places that are standard disclosures, but there's also a questionnaire that you as a seller have to fill out that says, is there any noises? And if you hear a plane, and noise is one of the most subjective things, noises and smells. It's really hard when you talk to an attorney. It's hard to do a lawsuit about an odor, a sound, or a smell, because it's very subjective. One person could not even hear it, or another person goes, "Oh my God, I can't stand that noise." So that, and then smells. Smells affect people differently. I know you have a really strong.
Yes, I'm very sensitive.
Strong sense of smell. Me, not so much, and
I know, but
and you have more sensitive ears.
No.
I know, and I'm like, does it smell? Because I can't smell it. And that's another thing. When you walk into somebody's house, sometimes it'll smell, and they don't smell it. You get nose blind, they call it.
Yeah.
So as you live there and you're used to maybe planes flying over, which they do over our house as well. I kind of like that. It's not to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I think it's cool.
It's like
somebody's going somewhere.
Every once in a while, there's
someone's
a big
going
plane
on a trip.
Like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah. Anyway, so we're excited to talk to John Stout about everything happening at the airport. I think it's great that we have a local airport here.
I think so too.
Where we don't have to go, leave
It's
4 hours,
convenient,
5 hours early just to get down to Oakland to take the 3 hours to go through security, or the 2 hours, and then, pay for all that parking and all of that. So it's very convenient, but with that comes also the concern that neighbors have about noise. So
Definitely.
Anyway, we're going to talk to John, pick his brain about that, everything that's going on at the airport.
And he'll be calling in at 9:30, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that, yeah. And then we'll talk about the numbers as usual, and just a little bit about, really, I think about disclosure, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, because I wanted to go through the different places where you should look for things like noise and like smell. I mean, even smell, and I think it comes up in the agency, in the Sonoma County disclosures, but we are a right-to-farm county. The last few days, I don't think it was yesterday, before, and I think it was when it was really muggy, really humid out. Yeah. You could smell the fertilizer.
Yeah, it's just part of
it's like, they must be fertilizing the fields right now, So it's part of living in Sonoma County. If you're coming from outside the county, it's really important that you read those disclosures. So we'll talk more about that. We'll take a good look at the numbers. And what else do we have going on? We had wasn't there an event? There's a couple events you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to mention Water Bark is happening today till 4 p.m. It's also happening, so it's pretty much every weekend. It's September 20th, September 21st, the 27th, the 28th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And tickets you can get online or at the gate. You just look up Water Bark, Sonoma County. It's at Spring Lake. The lagoon where they usually have open.
Yeah, the little swimming lagoon that they have. Yeah, the swimming
lagoon. They close it off for the doggos. It's $10 if you're a park member, I believe, and then $15 if you are not.
Yeah.
And that's per dog.
Per dog,
and it's all for...
and I think it's $7 to park, too.
Oh, yes. I think
you can walk in, though, too. Yeah, it's for the Park Federation
so
or something. It is for a good cause.
Yes.
It's very safe, secure. They fence it all off. They have the double gate going in so that, if you have a runner like my dog, who tends to take off when she senses freedom. And then it becomes a game at that point. Where she's, I'll catch me. But so it's really nice to have a nice, and she loves water, and all of our dogs love water. And there aren't really very many places that are secure like that for a dog that does tend to take off. To go socialize with other dogs. You can socialize with other dog people. So,
it's a fun event.
It is a fun event. So
we love it. We look forward to it every year.
Yeah, so do our dogs, although they don't know it.
Exactly.
We'll let them be surprised.
Oh, they're smart.
They're all, I sense that it's September. Aren't we going to go to Water Bark this year? Another thing that's happening today, the Festival, which is an artisan pop-up market. John Shannon Williams Family Live Music, September 14th. That is today, correct? I didn't get it wrong.
Yes, it is September 14th. Good job.
And 11, well, I know that they had, and the reason that this came on our radar is because the Atwood Ranch and Swedes Feed and Garden, and Halter Project, who we've talked to Julie Atwood before, Halter Project and Julie are going to be on site to share expert animal evacuation and safety advice. You can get a free emergency plan guide and register to win a Super Pet Prep and Chill kit from Atwood Ranch and Swedes Feed and Garden. So come refresh your emergency go bag and disaster action plan for your pets, equine, backyard critters, all that good stuff. So that's Festival, and it's today from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's in Kenwood at 9255 Sonoma Highway, and parking is accessible off of Cypress Ave. So
fun.
Go out and make it a good day. Have fun doing
definitely.
That. The other thing, let's take a quick break. Can we take a break? Let's take a quick break. Come back. We're going to tell you all the numbers. There is some news coming out of the Fed that there is their meeting that they have coming up on Wednesday. They're going to be discussing lowering the mortgage rate. And there's been the two different things where there's the interest rate, which affects adjustable rates. It affects your HELOC sometimes, and your credit cards and your car loans and all of that. We haven't really seen a lot that's adjusted the mortgage rates, and they have come down a little bit, but they're speculating that they may come down a smidge more. So don't hold out for them to come down to 3%, but they are speculating that they might come down a little bit. We'll talk about that when we come back. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour, and we'll be right back.
Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning. We are back. So, as we had mentioned, we have John Stout calling in today from the Charles M. Schulz Airport at 9:30 to talk about the new airline they have, Southwest.
Yeah,
and
exciting.
It's very exciting, so stay tuned for that. We also have the market update.
Yes.
And we have, what else do we have
well,
today?
let's talk. So when we left for break, and I ran out for a second. When we left for break, I was talking real briefly about what's happening in the mortgage. So they are thinking that here's some takeaways that I'll just give credit where credit is due. This is an email that I got from Michael Belfour, AP Mortgage, and just one of our great here local mortgage lenders. And we get a lot of emails throughout the week from different lenders that say, keep us really up on what's happening here in Sonoma County, as far, or nationally or whatever, as far as what's happening in the mortgage market. So he says, here's what they're watching. The Consumer Price Index inflation came in exactly as expected, which helps confirm the broader narrative that inflation is no longer running hot. Unemployment claims hit their highest level in nearly 4 years, continuing the softening labor trend. And that's really what's going to be the indicator of whether rates are going to come down, is that the unemployment is up. So, so with bad comes good. That's and
it's
even
very
though
interesting how that works.
I know,
Yeah.
and so they were saying on the news this morning. I was listening to that. Even though inflation, and here he said that it's no longer running hot, but they are saying that inflation is still kind of on the up, which typically they won't lower the interest rates if we're still dealing with the inflation, but the unemployment coming in low is what's really they're thinking that maybe they're going to lower the interest rates because of that. The 10-year Treasury is hovering around 4%, and mortgage bonds are holding support levels. Rate sheets have stayed flat, but the tone remains cautiously optimistic heading into next week's Fed meeting. So the takeaways from that is most lenders are holding pricing steady ahead of the Fed's decision next Wednesday, which is on the 17th. If the Fed signals a dovish stance or confirms rate cuts are coming, we could see meaningful move lower in rates, possibly even return to the 5.99 rate.
Oh, wow.
So we shall see. And I would say don't hold out for, what I would say is, yes, if you can wait until Wednesday, or maybe sometimes if they know, they'll kind of start lowering their rates ahead of the meeting, and they're lowering because they'll know that it's happening. But they're being cautiously optimistic. But what I would say is reach out to your lender and say,
that's a really good idea.
Should I wait until Wednesday and then lock in my rate, or should I lock it in now? Some lenders, if you lock it in, I think for most of them, if I remember correctly, once you lock it in, they can't really lower it. So you want to be careful, but maybe they can, and I could be wrong. But that's why you talk to your lender, not your realtor, and to say, should I lock in these rates? I would say you should. I wouldn't wait to, buy a house because you think rates are coming down, because it's not significant. I mean, it is significant, but it's not huge. So. Yeah. And they actually have already come down a little bit. So let's talk real quick about the market and the numbers, so that we have time to give John Stout our full attention at 9:30. So stay tuned for that. But taking a look, taking a look at the market and what's currently active in the market right now. Single family homes, we have 1,046 on the market. That's actually, yeah, it's about the same as it was last week. 1,160,000 is the median price for those active single family homes on the market right now. In escrow, we have 299. I was a little surprised to see that because we really have been very consistently in that 3 to 350 that we see sitting in escrow, waiting to close, hopefully. Today it's down, it's 299, and I don't know if, I know school just started, people are, things, kind of getting back into that. There's also maybe the people watching the interest rates going, well, maybe let's wait a couple weeks and see what happens, so that is a little bit lower than we've seen in a while as far as what's in escrow. The price, or the median price of what's in escrow is $825,000. Condos, we have 144 active condos on the market. That's up a little bit, with 53 in escrow. That actually is up a little bit as well, so that's good. Still a big difference between what's active on the market with condos and what's in escrow. Mobile homes, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. No. Mobile homes, we have 82 active mobile homes on the market with 34 in escrow. Those numbers are, active is up, in escrow is down a little bit. Multi-unit 105 multi-units, that's 2 to 4 units. And there are 23 in escrow, so 105 active, 23 in escrow. That actually was 95 last week, so that's a big difference between 95 and 105, relatively speaking. And then 23 is actually exactly the same as it was last week. So anyway, so those numbers are the same. Land, we have 330. I'm sorry, that was last week. Oh, it's exactly the same. 336 active buildable residential land, whether it's acreage or a lot in the in the city limits in town. 336 active with 32 in escrow. It's actually a few more in escrow, about 5 more in escrow than we had last week. So that's good. Yeah. A few pieces of land have gone into escrow. That's a tough one. Land is hard. Really land is a hard sell right now because just the cost of everything,
They tend to sit on the market longer.
A lot available. Yes. A lot to choose from. Okay, so you have a quick look at what happened this last week in real estate.
Yeah, quick look at the hot sheet for Sonoma County single family residential. So for new listings, we have 109, which is a little bit down from last week. And that is with a median list price of $900,000, which is up from last week by a little bit. And then back on market, we have 22, which is also down a little bit from last week. And then price reduction, we have 113, which is a little bit up from last week. And then in escrow, we have 70, and that is down from what we had last week. Not down by much, but a little bit up. And then pending, we have 58, which is up from last week. And then closed, 92, which is also up from last week. And that is with a median sold price of $855,000. And that is a little bit up from last week as well. And then 67 days on the market, which is a day less than last week.
Woohoo! And that's an average. So,
yes,
yeah, that's
an average.
Kind of, things are taking a little longer to sell unless it's just a really desirable, and sometimes you just don't know what's going to fly out of, off the shelf and what isn't.
Interesting.
We've had a few condos recently where one that was on the market for a while. And then, of course, as soon as our client wanted to put an offer in, so did somebody else.
It seems to happen that way. Everything kind of happens at once.
Yeah, our new escrow that we with buyer, same thing. I mean, it had only been on the market for a few days, though. So that one, desirable location.
It's when it's desirable. It's kind of competitive. You got to...
offer
forward.
Exactly. And that doesn't necessarily mean all cash. Doesn't necessarily mean price. There's different things, terms, and all that can make a difference. Are we?
And then I just wanted to say congratulations to all of you who either bought or sold a home, and everyone that was involved: the lender, the escrow officer, what else?
All the agents, the buyer, the seller.
Yes, it's a lot. It's a huge process.
Our transaction coordinator and the one on the other side as well.
Yes. It's a lot, and we appreciate everybody that makes it happen, and we're excited for everyone that either bought or sold a home.
I know, it really is. It's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved. And it really takes a lot of teamwork and communication.
Yes, communication is key.
I don't know what's happening with my voice. But anyway, I wanted to, we have about a minute left. We posted something on our Facebook page. It's actually it's a program that we belong to that we're subscribed to, and it's called Keeping Current Matters. They have a lot of really good information. They post, or we see it and we go, oh, that's interesting. Let's post it on there. I just want to remind people, and we talk about all the time, national numbers versus not national numbers. And it does make a difference. And so when you're looking at the whole nation, there was one post that says that what is it? It's like 50% of homes are selling for less than their list price. I don't know that that's accurate for Sonoma County. Just keep in mind that's a national number. There we do see a big difference actually in some of list price versus the other.
Yeah.
What it's sold for, but also there's another report that I saw about news prices. Home inventory.
Oh, yes.
Being at as high as it had been since COVID. There's some accuracy to that, but I will say that it's actually really going back further to maybe 2018, 2019, where we saw some really big numbers, and nothing at all compared to what we saw at the bottom of the market back in 2010, 11. Which was about 2,000 or more homes on the market. And now we're sitting around 1,000. So anyway, we're going to take a break for the news. And when we come back, we're going to have John Stout, Airport Manager, Charles M. Schulz, Sonoma County Airport, with some big news, which you've probably heard already. We'll share that with you. And John's going to tell us all about what's happening at the airport. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to the Real Estate Hour. And who do we have on the line today?
We have John Stout, Airport Manager of Charles M. Schulz, Sonoma County Airport.
Welcome, John.
Welcome. Thank
you
for calling in and being available.
Good morning. Yeah, my microphone's doing weird things. John, we really appreciate you calling in and really always being open and available to call in and fill everybody in on what's happening at the airport anytime there's any news or updates. So we appreciate you
we really appreciate
taking the time today. So welcome. I was trying to think this morning about how long you've been with the airport for a long time. How long have you been?
I started with the airport in 2002.
Okay, wow, gosh, time flies. I know we've been.
It does.
You've been a friend of the Real Estate Hour for a while, so and in that time, gosh, a lot of things have changed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At the airport, exciting things, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
We were talking earlier in the show about how. We both, Stephanie and I both live Northwest Santa Rosa, so we get to see the planes fly over. Once in a while there's a loud one, but I actually really think I think it's cool. And
I think so too, yeah.
I liked it, and I think, somebody's going somewhere or somebody's coming into Sonoma County, and it's makes me happy, makes me smile. So, but I know not everybody feels that way, but I know you do. And but you've got some big news about what's happening. There's some changes happening there at the airport.
Just a little one. After about 15 years of work, Southwest has decided to come into Santa Rosa. So we're very excited to add them to our partnerships. And they'll start flying April 7th next year.
That's great.
That's
I think
exciting.
I really like Southwest, and I know I think it was in a Facebook post that the airport shared that you sound like you have been working for a while, and a lot of people have requested that Southwest comes. So, kudos to you for making that happen. So. What kind of I know you said when you and I talked briefly that's not that big of a change from Avelo. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, it's a much larger airline than Avelo.
Right.
Avelo at their peak, they did 8 destinations in Santa Rosa, and as you know, they struggled on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So they went up and down in their offerings. But last year, well, starting last May, they were doing roughly the 4 flights a day. So that's where I'm saying it's not that much of a change.
Okay.
Southwest will be doing the 4 flights a day, so that's something that the community's experienced. But they'll be going to busy airports of their own. They'll be flying to San Diego, Las Vegas, Burbank, and once a week to Denver. So everybody's got to do their part now and book those tickets so Denver becomes daily.
Yeah, okay. So it's once a week right now.
Correct.
Okay. Is that the furthest we've seen a flight go from the Sonoma County Airport?
The furthest would be Minneapolis when Sun Country was flying that, and our current furthest is Dallas by American.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we had a flight to Dallas. That's
I didn't
awesome.
know that either. That's awesome, yeah.
So good. So, like I said, I mean, the benefit outweighs the complaint, I think, of people that
definitely.
hearing the planes and all of that. But to be able to go to our local airport, not spend, add 5 hours to your trip by heading down to Oakland or San Francisco. We live like 10 minutes from from the airport.
Just have someone give you a ride, get dropped off. You don't have to worry about parking.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's great. I really appreciate it. So is anything else happening at the airport? Any new changes? Anything? I know, were there some new like vendors, a restaurant or something, or is that old news by now?
So the restaurant partner we selected 2 years ago has finished their renovations. Finally, they didn't listen too well when we explained the permitting process, and things go a little bit slower here sometimes. So they are now the Flying Ace, and they finished all the renovations, and now they're finishing their branding, and they're really pushing the local aspect because not many airports have a pre-secure restaurant. And so with the 7,000 plus employees in the business park area, they're really wanting to fit into that community, and they did a open house Friday night.
Oh, we missed
it. So,
darn it.
So that was a hit for us. And we've been slowly adding more vending in the concourse area past security. We have 2 young girls, they're 9 and 11, that came and pitched a proposal to the airport of a claw machine with little toys.
Oh, fun.
So they now have 2 vending machines in there, and that has turned into be a very popular machine in the gate.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So we're continuing to add little amenities here. We're finalizing work on a hot food vending machine.
Oh.
We had to finish up a commercial-grade kitchen past security.
Okay.
That is now done, and they're just working out the final logistics.
Wow. So, I mean, that sounds great. So the Flying Ace, so they had their open house. Are they actually open now?
Yes.
Okay.
They've been open the entire time. They just hadn't finished all the renovations and upgrades.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, we need to get out there and check it out. Yeah. So that's pre-security, right? So that's open to the public?
That's correct.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So while we're in the pre-security stage, I know that I had heard, maybe last year, a lot of people talking about parking and issues with parking out there at the airport. Do you have any suggestions? Has that gotten better?
It has gotten better.
Okay.
So this summer, last year, we had weekends where we were completely full. And so far, we are running about 15% capacity available on weekends. So there is adequate parking.
Good.
We also have a valet program. So on those days where we are full, we activate the valet at the long-term rate instead of a regular valet rate.
Okay.
And nobody will have to be turned away.
Good.
And then also we've been pushing harder with Smart.
Yeah.
So their Smart Connect shuttle and the increased hours on the train has helped as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's great.
We like to say it's the smart way to fly. But
Definitely, yeah.
We like that too. That's a great slogan. I think the Smart has really added a lot to that as well, to the airport access.
Definitely.
So that's good to hear because I was hearing people say, parking is horrible. So I'm glad it's gotten better. And as with everything else, I know it's an ongoing process.
Yeah. I was going to ask, so with adding Southwest, is that going to change any of the routes? Will there be new routes, or will it still kind of be the same kind of flight path?
Oh, as far as the takeoff and landing.
So the addition of Southwest doesn't change any of the routing. That is all handled by FAA.
Okay.
We've been working on a study to modify those to make them more neighbor-friendly. Mm-hmm. As we've been saying, though, it's the FAA, they're federal government. They move very slow. But
Right.
we're now in the final design phase. So we're hoping to submit packages to the FAA around the first of next year.
Okay.
And then they do their review and safety analysis of all that. So we're hoping in another year and a half, we'll get those procedures modified, because the FAA did change significantly procedures January of 24, which routed aircraft over previously areas that didn't see a lot of aircraft.
Right, I know that. Last time we spoke, and I can't remember if it was here or when I went to one of the community outreach events you were doing. But you said that, suddenly you were getting calls from Sebastopol. It's like, what is this suddenly, this plane? So that was the FAA. Is it FAA? Yeah.
Yes. The FAA did that to us and didn't do any outreach in our community and didn't give us any advance notice on that. So,
wow.
We're dealing with that. And,
with anything with the government, federal government takes a little bit longer. I remember talking to you about, I know that there's a lot in those studies, and I think that's what you're talking about, that you're getting ready to turn in the final. But there were kind of check-in points that the pilots have to hit, and then it's points in between that they can go a little rogue if they want to and not follow it. And you were trying to work on, I think, adding some additional check-in points. Is that part of what the plan is that you're working with FAA or submitting? Yes. Okay.
So it's the instrument procedures the pilots follow for arrivals and departures. And they're trying to integrate it into the national system. And there's a lot of traffic in the Bay Area. So it gets a little difficult on that routing. So we want to add in new points. We want to make it so there's more of a continuous descent instead of a leveling off and adding power. Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem with the one that was done in January of 24, they instruct the pilots you can start turning once you reach 500 feet. So we want to extend that, make that altitude higher, because that's where the big difficulty is. The planes they're following a legal procedure.
Right.
But in some of those areas, they're only at 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet, so they're lower with full power, and that creates more noise. So we want to reduce that and refine those points and get them to a less populated area. That's why it's been so complicated.
Right.
It's really getting it tied into that national system and making it work for what's on the ground here.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it's important to talk about that because I'm sure you get a lot of stuff from people complaining at you, and this is what are you guys doing there? And it's a lot of it is kind of out of your control because it's controlled by the FAA. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that you. I think the airport really tries to be a good neighbor.
I think so too.
And I know you have a good neighbor link on your website as well. So I would encourage people to go use that, sign up for that newsletter, I don't think it's a newsletter. Is it it's like a notification emails that go out. You want to talk a little bit about the Good Neighbor, things that you're doing as far as community outreach?
Sure. So we do have a newsletter, so people can sign up for that. And then also on the stsgoodneighbor.com website is our noise portal. It is a flight tracker, so you can put in your concerns. So if a particular plane bothered you, you can select the aircraft, puts it into the system. We look at it, we correlate it, and we do monthly reports to the Aviation Commission We do briefings to the Board of Supervisors, and we also provide this information to the FAA because it does, once we correlate it, we can tell which procedure the pilots are flying, and it's helped us in our discussions with the FAA on that. It's like, see, 75% of these complaints are on that procedure you just put in.
Right.
But we use that to also communicate when we're doing community outreach. We will be doing later this fall a review of those draft procedures before we submit to the FAA.
Oh, good. Okay.
And again, we're not going to make everybody happy, but we're trying to balance everything with the neighbors, the pilots, the FAA, and get as much win out of as we can for everybody.
Yeah.
So that'll be an important meeting, and we'll publicize that through that website.
Awesome. Well,
Nice.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who does live not as close as others, but we do live northwest Santa Rosa off of Fulton, so we get some planes flying over. But we appreciate all the care that you take to really consider the neighbors. And it's kind of a balancing act because we want an airport here. We want to be able to drive 10 minutes to get to the airport and not 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever, and so anyway, we want the best of both, and I think you're really trying to make that happen. So I appreciate that.
Yes, definitely. Appreciate it.
So the we'll keep an eye out for the community outreach that you're doing later this year. I went to the last one that you guys did, and I think it was really informative and really a lot of good information and to kind of help you understand what's going on. So instead of just people just complaining. So, anyway, so what about, I guess I don't want to leave anything out, but I did want to ask you about, we talked about parking, and I'm comparing to, going down to Oakland or San Francisco or Sacramento or San Jose or other big airports nearby, but having to get there, like 2.5 hours early, 3 hours early. What do you suggest to someone as far as getting through security there at STS?
Well, the airlines, of course, have their packed answers. They would prefer everybody get there 2 hours before so they don't have to worry about anybody missing their plane.
Okay.
Being a smaller facility, we don't have the TSA lines, but there are peak periods during the day where there can be a 15 to 20-minute wait to get through security.
Okay.
We do encourage everybody to get there at least an hour ahead.
Okay.
That's why we've been really pushing the amenities beyond security.
Right.
We have Crush Wine Bar. We have Apple Spice Grab and Go.
Ooh.
We have all the vending machines. We have our Salamari meat machine. So probably the only airport in the world that has a vending machine for duck prosciutto.
Oh.
We also have an outdoor patio between the gates.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
we have really improved what passengers experience while they wait. So hopefully, that hour-ish time, you have something you can do while you're waiting for your flight.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And always, I'm one that likes to get there early because you never know what might happen, And gosh, I remember when the airport, I don't know when it was, but you had to get there a half an hour early, and the same person that checked you in put you through security and then helped you onto the plane. It was a hard half an hour because they closed down the check-in counter because they had to go over to security and let everybody in there, and then they shut that down. They had to go help you on the plane. So as they say, we've come a long way, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Little smaller planes, but still.
Yeah, but there's still that actually that you reminded me of a question I was going to ask. The Southwest planes is it the same type of plane as all the other ones? I know you're kind of limited by the size of your runway, right? To bigger planes.
They will be flying the 737, same as a Velo. So they will range from 142 seats to 175 seats.
Awesome.
And Alaska is flying the 737 to Seattle once or twice a day, depending on the week. And American is flying the Airbus 319 to Dallas.
Awesome.
So
okay.
We do have the larger aircraft.
Okay. I forgot that you had American Airlines there, so that's good. Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, are we missing anything important you wanted to let everyone know about? Or did we cover it all?
I think we've covered it all. So
right.
we do have the 3 carriers, and we have 12 destinations. So on our website, we do have how to get there. It's a way you can look up how can I get to where I want to go, and it can help you look at one-stop connections from Santa Rosa that helps you find ways to fly from Santa Rosa.
Oh, good. And and actually that I was going to ask you that as well. As far as Southwest, I know they have some big hub, areas, as most airlines do, but is there some of the places they're flying, are those hub cities or hub airports that'll get you then off to other places?
Southwest doesn't technically call them hubs, but they have, San Diego's a very large operation for them. They have 250 flights a day. Denver has over 300 flights a day. And within a 90-minute connect time from the times that they gave us, there's 25 to 30 flights that connect very well from Santa Rosa through San Diego, Vegas, and Denver.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's great, and that's a good tip about the website and checking. You say, I want to get to New York. How do I do that from Santa Rosa?
Yeah.
So anyway, well, John, we're not going to keep you any longer, but I really appreciate, again, you taking the time to call us on a Sunday morning. And
you're welcome.
We are excited about Southwest being there.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
So thank you. And thanks for all your hard work with that. All right, well, next time we have some big news from the airport. We hope you'll give us a call and talk about it. Thanks again. So we've been talking to John Stout, Airport Manager, Charles M. Schulz, Sonoma County Airport, otherwise known in short abbreviation STS when you're putting that in. Thank you again, John. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So again, go to their website because they have a really good website. A lot of good information and that good neighbor link that you can, if you have a complaint, let them know. They're really eager to try and help and find an even ground between being a destination, and a good local airport and being a good neighbor at the same time. So, right. So we're going to take a quick break. And we come back, we'll finish up the show a little bit of talking about disclosures having to do with airport noise, trains, all that stuff. Okay, I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team. You're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back.
Morning.
Good morning. We're back.
We're back.
And that was a good conversation with John Stout.
It was really good. Good information and everything.
Yeah, people really, I know they get a lot of, he's handling a lot of stuff. And they do get a lot of complaints from neighbors. And then at the same time, trying to be a good airport in the local part of the community. I think he does a great job. Anyway, so... However, because that would take away from, I think he's doing a great job. And he is. But, when you buy a house or when you go to put your house on the market, it's really important. One thing you are required by law to order a natural hazard disclosure report. Your realtor will do it for you. But as a seller, you're required to pay for that. Now, that doesn't mean that the buyer can't say, well, I'll pay for it. If they're trying to sweeten their offer and just take away all of the things it costs, it's like $99. It's not some are even less than that. But it's all of those disclosures about, is it in a high fire area, which is really important right now to know when you're buying a house because it's going to affect your insurance. But is it near an industrial zone? Is it near a gas line or gas storage area? And they started adding those after that big gas explosion down in, was it Los Gatos or somewhere there was a huge gas explosion in a neighborhood. So now the natural hazard disclosure says, oh, by the way, there's a gas storage area here. There's dam inundation areas. If you live anywhere near Lake Sonoma, which is there's a dam there, and if you live below it, you're going to be in a dam inundation zone. That just means if the dam breaks, your house might be in the path of the flood of water. But anyway, in amongst all that, and then also we're in the right to farm area, which is a paragraph and section of your Sonoma County disclosures that says, by the way, did you know Sonoma County we are a right to farm. We're a very big agricultural place. You're going to smell fermenting grapes. You're going to smell, you're going to hear machinery during crush at 2 a.m. sometimes because they start early in the morning.
And the vineyard fans.
The vineyard fans in the cold when it's cold, they turn the fans on. When it hits a certain 30 degrees outside, the fans come on. If you live near a vineyard and there's those big fans that you see up there, you're going to hear it. So know that. How sensitive are you to that? And you can't buy a house and then later go, oh my gosh, there's fans. It's so noisy. I hate it. And I mean, maybe you do, but you were told, or you should have been told, that there's fans out there. And I would say if you have experienced that where you live and you're selling your house, add that to the thing. Just add it to your disclosures. If you know, disclose, and don't say, well, then they're not going to buy my house. You know what? They're better for them to back out now than to buy it and go, oh my gosh, you didn't tell me about this. And again, noise is one of the most, noise and smell, two of them the hardest to prove or to find to win in any kind of lawsuit against someone for not disclosing, because maybe they didn't even hear it, or didn't bother them, so they didn't think to write it down.
One might hear, one might not hear, and one
exactly
one might smell something and someone might not smell it.
Yeah,
so
but
it's subjective. But
Anyway, so we got off track, but I was talking about it. Well, I mean, I think it's important, but we're talking about airport and airplane noises and the train. It's things like when I bought my house, we didn't have planes flying over. We had a little small engine planes, but we didn't have the bigger planes. I can't complain now. I mean, I guess I could, like, oh my gosh, now there's planes, But if you bought your house, 5 years ago, there were planes. You were by an airport. You knew that that there were going to be planes. You can't come back and say, "Oh, you didn't tell me about the planes." It just and I don't mean to sound empathetic, because yes, if it's bothering them, it's unfortunate. But we live near an airport. You can't buy a house near an airport and then say, "Oh my gosh, there's an airport." Anyway, Joe's waving his arms. We got to go. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team, and you've been listening to the Real Estate Hour. You can find us on Facebook for more information. Facebook.
The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. We have our YouTube channel,
Sonoma County Real Estate Hour on YouTube. Check that one out too. Always give us a call, 707-799-3617. That'll repeat itself in the end message here. Well, go out and have a great day. Take care.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. The Norman Home Team, Sonoma County real estate market knowledge from real estate professionals, born and raised in the North Bay. Sunday mornings at 9 on KSRO and KSRO.com.